by expending one worker, you stop your opponent making stalkers and mothership core and so on, which meant that they couldn't basically tech up to do anything because they couldn't get gas in their main. Oh, thank you, Chazway. TJB is potentially going to send us in some replays. By the way, those of you who are following along at home, that is also how you send in replays. Send them to novawolfen@gmail.com. The Terran scouting in sees that the natural is a little bit stacked. The Reaper getting in there and actually doing some damage. Have any kills yet? No kills yet. The Queen is going to be out to chase it away, but it might get one kill before it goes. Yes, it will. Get out of the base before you get killed, Reaper, though. You don't want to lose the Reaper. It's actually quite a valuable unit. No! Is there a Queen in the net? There is. But as long as the Reaper doesn't go somewhere stupid, it's not going to die to that. The thing is, I don't think this bunker's going to get up, and the Reaper's dead. Bang. The question is, has the bunker been seen? It has. It has been seen, but it's not been responded to, and it's actually been cancelled in the meantime. As it turns out, bunker rush did not work, and therefore, here's a question: what's going to happen first? 35 seconds. So actually, yeah, the speed's going to be done before the Hellions even hit. They'll be out before it finishes, but not by much. Speedlings, however, are a thing now. No more gas being mined, though. So presumably we're looking at lots of base from Funkify. I don't really know. More Queens would definitely be good if we're looking at resisting Hellion pressure. Just one more Queen for the base, and then having two, possibly three Queens up at the nat, just to push any Hellion pressure back. Oh, shout out to Flarnot in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. TJB, I'm doing shitloads more replays today. I'm going to be doing replays for at least another 2 hours, possibly more. But then I may have to disappear at short notice, so we'll see what happens. Roach Warren coming down. And I like this Roach Warren, actually. It's a good choice against the Hellions. And again, it's slightly predictable, so we could end up seeing... There we go, Banshees. Banshees are a good choice here, because apart from anything else, you know your opponent's probably going to be able to go Roaches. And if they do, Banshee's good against Roach. I'm just saying Banshee's good against Roach. The only thing that I would like to see more of from our Zerg player is pushing this creep out. But if we look at Terran's setup, actually, there's not much here. It's a 1-1-1, which is a nice flexible opener. Oh, the Zergling going in to be brave, and it turns out it was his death. And now the Speedlings are actually going to do well to stay away, I think. Stay at the top of the ramp where the Hellions can't kill them. Queen's going to go down. Banshee is on the way. No cloak, though. So this might just be a straight-up Banshee push. There's only one gas. Ideally, you really need a second gas to put... Well, as I said, Terran has enough gas to make the cloak and get another Banshee out when the... There's enough Hellions here to actually indicate a direction of mech. Oh, actually, yeah, that could be a declaration of mech. Having that many Hellions... Wait a second. And this is where our Zerg player is going to fall down a bit. Because you know what would be really useful right now? This Overlord being, like, here. And just floating up to see that actually our Zerg player is probably going to need Swarm Host. Iron send, by the way, Flarnot in the chat asks, can we send in replays? Email them to novawolfen@gmail.com. I should probably put that as a scrolling thing somewhere. I will do that shortly. We have a lull. Looks like we have a bit of a lull. So I'm going to add that in. Put that above the chat. I was seeing a bit of posturing, the Hellions basically taking map control and keeping it. Because that's what they do best. They basically control the map. Anything that would want to come and kill them has to be able to catch them. And if they can, basically, if it's Lings, they'll kill the Lings. If it's anything else, they'll just run away back to defensive. Structures. Our third base coming down because this is actually quite a wide ramp. And we'll try and shrink that down a bit. More Hellions going out. I like it. Let's see. Oh, crap. Center horizontally. There we go. Bam! So pro. So now, he says, clicking on the wrong window to try and move the minimap. We're seeing a third base from our Zerg player. I think it would ideally have been up a little sooner, but then, such as life, there's been Hellion harassment, and that's kind of the point of the Hellion harassment, is to keep this sort of thing back, really. It's to stop your opponent getting in and getting out and getting their third base. Make sure that their economy is a little bit stunted, because that way, basically, because of the way Zergs work, all of their production functions off these buildings here. So if you can deny them having one, that's 2/3 of his potential production capacity is all he's got. But now we're seeing a definite commitment to mech. We're seeing Blue Flame coming up, which you only really see in mech compositions. You don't tend to see them anywhere else. Yeah. The thing is, the response that I can see from our Zerg player is potentially going to be just, okay, fine. Swarm host it is. And the fact that Beaver isn't pushing in and punishing means that our Zerg player's worker count is freaking huge. This is going to take some seriously good engagements to avoid it becoming a bit of a stomp. But then again, mech is good for that sort of thing, so I guess we'll see what happens. There's a bunch of roaches pushing up this front. There's tanks, though, which means that this won't actually achieve much. And what Funkify really wants to do is send in the Lings first, get them shot to death by tanks, and go, oh shit, no. And now the roaches have to run because that Banshee is actually uncontestable. But mutas are out, though, are going to be on their way. Which does mean that these Banshees need to be a little bit careful. They've got Cloak on the way, but it's not there yet, and they are potentially just running straight towards a muta trap. But the Spore Crawlers are now up. So technically speaking... Oh, wait, no, there's no Spore Crawler here. There's no Cloak defense against this at the lair. No Kev, I don't know. The roaches are definitely taking a pounding, though, and this hasn't been very cost effective. This attack pushed back. The mutas are, however, here, and the Cloak is real, so now our Zerg player basically pulls back to safety and presumably gets some detection up. One of the things that would be really good to have at this point for Funkify is some... you've got the lair, so get some mobile detection up in the form of Overseers, and then get the Observer Overlord movement speed, which basically increases them so they can keep up with the mutas. It was a thing that actually became really important when the Widow Mine became a thing, because if you can't keep up with the mutas run into Widow Mines without detection and then die. Thor's on their way, though, so the mutas are not going to go uncontested. Turns out Thors shoot everywhere. +1/+1 also coming up, but 10 drones, because it turns out our Zerg player fears nothing. And to be fair, the army size is bigger, the worker count is higher, and the upgrades are the only thing at which our Zerg player is really lacking, and that really could end up costing him quite a lot in the future. Our Terran player going up for a third base, which really does need as a meching player. As a meching player, oh, there's only one thing. Oh, there we go. Turning the Cloak off is a good plan. You don't want to waste the energy. And now the gold base is being taken, and this could be a pretty good setup. The thing is, the Zerg player seems to be going for the strategy of get the gas, get a Spore Crawler up, and then start worrying about everything else in that base. The only thing I'm concerned about is the fact that our Zerg player hasn't got vision of the main, really, at all. They've seen the wall, which has a CC in it, and that's it. And now there's a hole in the wall. If there was a vision there, then maybe that would actually be quite a good place to run in. Banelings, you know? But 22 Lings on the way. Double Evos coming up, so the Zerg players realise the upgrade deficit. But has no scouting information whatsoever. The turtle of the Terran means that actually these Widow Mines are going to be horrifying. Because what's going to happen is the Zerg player is going to wander in, potentially take a shot from this mine, and then definitely take a shot from this mine when they try to slip past. That's very nice positioning by Beaver there. Very nice indeed. So... Funkify just sitting, chilling, relaxing or maxing out cool. And bearing in mind that this is 122 army supply to 76. If this army can get in, if the mutas can kill off these tanks, the rest of the army can probably be eaten by banelings. But it requires these tanks to go down. If the banelings are not killed, if the banelings get killed by the tanks, then that won't be very good. The thing is, again, Funkify missing out on the scouting front, because if they did scout, they would know that this base exists. We have some email from Mr. TJB in the chat. Because it turns out replays are pretty funky. Thank you, TJB, for sending those in. BDDD. And the Widow Mines do their thing. Oh, they're clustering up. Oh, wow. So many meters lost for no gain. But actually, if they can burst their way through, they might actually do some serious pain. But nope, the Thors are coming now, and these mutas might all die. Because it turns out, Thors do splash damage. Who knew? And now he's got entire sight of what his opponent's army looks like, and most of it's mech. So you really don't want to hopper over missile turrets like that. Oh, that stings. The thing is, the army was out of position. That would have been a great... Oh, will he scout? Will he scout? No, he will not scout. The mutas might accidentally scout. No. The thing is, that would have been a really good time. Now would be a really good time to send the Banelings in. Now would be a really good time to send in this army. But unfortunately, our 119 army supply Zerg is not attacking when I really think he should have done. Because Beaver's unsieged. If Banelings went in, everything gets hit. In fact, the only thing I'd really like to see is Funkify taking this watchtower. Oh. But nope, droning so hard. Not actually helping here. Again, it all comes down to map vision. If you actually look at map vision, Funkify doesn't have much. Beaver doesn't either. Beaver cares not. Beaver has a massive army moving forward. And this army could actually do quite a lot of damage if Funkify doesn't spot it coming. If Funkify can get in there before the siege happens, then Funkify will basically wipe this army out. The Banelings will go in, and the Hellbats will do nothing to Banelings, basically. Or rather, they will do very little cost-effectiveness to Banelings. Oh, the army can see! Mutas can see! Now he knows he needs to get in there. He needs to get in there! Because that army's going to siege up on the high ground, and now it's too late. Kill the tanks! Kill the tanks! Kill the tanks! You need to kill the tanks, otherwise this army is too slow. Oh no, this is going to be the worst engagement in the world for our Zerg player. The Banelings were not sufficient, and the Roaches are not going to be sufficient now because the tanks are raining death upon them, and that's actually a really painful loss for Funkify. From 100 army supply to 30 with nothing in between. That's not how you fight a mech army, my friend. That's not how you fight a mech army. I have a feeling, though, this is probably going to end up being some kind of Broodlord-based composition, because it turns out... Yeah. Mule's being dropped. Nice one by Beaver there. By the way, Chazway saying this is the first time he's played mech. It's not a bad way to play mech, if I'm brutally honest. This is good mech. The only thing it's weak against is being caught unsieged by this many frickin' Banelings. And that's the point at which you siege up. That's the point at which you siege your tanks. Because if your tanks are not sieged, then you die. Actually, yep, that'll do. That'll do it. A Thor died, so that wasn't the best. But at the same time, there's still enough army on the inside here to just go and kill everything. I think if the tanks are sieged in the right place, even this few tanks is still good. It's really quite shiny, and there's reinforcements coming in the form of more tanks, because everything so far that the Terran player has had to face has been on the ground, apart from the few meters. Blue Flame Hellbats versus, oh my god, drones. Seriously? Seriously. And actually, Hellbats not so bad against Roaches either. Roaches getting murdered so hard, because it turns out siege tanks will kill them so much. They just do bonus damage to armor. And this right here is how you beat a Zerg. Yeah, turns out, with a better engagement, Funkify would have done so much better. His army supply was bigger, he could have gotten in there. Actually, to be fair, also the other disadvantage being the 2-2 versus the 1-1, that really didn't help out. But otherwise, a good game by both. Thank you to Beaver for sending in that replay. We'll see if we can get some more from you. But, nice to see good, clean play by both players. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you in the next replay.